Hello once again, everybody. This is Rich with High Percent Trading. This short video is going to cover two markets for this past week. We're going to show all of the accelerator trades exactly the way these are taught and shown, not only in the webinars but in the live markets analysis room. These are the exact trade setups that occurred all this week, and what you're going to see is following the rules. Each one of these trades every day, each one of the sessions rather, every day. And in this case, a half hour, trading the half hour after the pit open in the Russell Index and trading the hour after the pit open in the crude oil. Each session was completely profitable. So in other words, it was 100% profitability for each trading session. Let's start with the Russell. This is going to be the 2nd of November. Remember, we're waiting out here to 632 or 630 rather, I'm sorry, 630 is out here. Here was our first trade set up long. This was a nice trade that resulted in a very nice profit to the upside. You had a second entry here. This one got stopped out. So first entry, very nice trade. Second one stopped out. Then we moved lower. We moved down below the mid band again. We reset and took the next trade here for another very nice gain all the way to the upside. If you wanted to try for a second add-on, that would have been right here at 654. This trade would have got eventually stopped out. But what the point I'm making is here's the first day of the week. That's Monday. Very nice trade, profitable. Very nice trade, profitable. Trading 2 units if you try to get a scalp on one and let the other one run and then manage the runner. Overall, this amounted to around between $700 and $800 in the first 30 minutes. And that's all we're looking at, trading the accelerator, going for those momentum trades in the first 30 minutes. Now let's take a look at the next day, which is Tuesday. All right, here's Tuesday. Here's 6:30. Again, we're going to follow the 2-arrow rule, which basically means you take trade number 1, and if you want, you can take trade number 2 on the arrows. But back off after that. So here's your first entry here in the Russell. This moved up nicely for about 18 ticks, and then as we came back down, trade number 2 here. This was a very nice trade to the upside. This one resulting in about 30 ticks on a runner, so that's roughly about 480 if you kept a runner on each one of these. Now remember, following the 2-arrow rule, we're going to ignore the rest of these in the same direction. And then a little bit later, again, still looking in the first half hour of trading, right? We had a nice short entry here that resulted in about a 10-tick scalp, no runner. But then here's your second entry here. This was a very nice trade. Again, a super entry here. This one then actually went on to make new lows off the short, resulting in about another 30 ticks in profit on a runner. So again, this now brings us out. We don't want to take more than 2 trades on the arrows in the same direction. This was 1, this was 2, so we're going to ignore these even though they made a profit, and that brings us out to 7 a.m. That takes us out to our end of our half hour. So again, on Tuesday, very nice profitable trades. Again, trading 1 and 1, which is a scalp and a runner, depending on how you manage your runners. Could have been anywhere from $500 to $800 in profit. Let's take a look at Wednesday. All right, here's our Wednesday. Again, we're going to focus in on 6:30, which is right here. Now, again, you need to follow the 2-arrow rule, and you need to look back. In other words, this is 6:30. This is when we're starting to trade. But if you look back already, the Russell had entry 1, entry 2. So when that happens, we're not really looking at taking entry 3 here, even though entry 3 did result in a nice profit. We've already had 2, so we're going to wait for the trade signal in the opposite direction, and that was it right here at 6:38. You had a nice short entry here, followed by the second arrow here, and you can see this market then continued to break all the way down, resulting in about a 48 to 50 tick profit on a runner. Again, following the 2-arrow rule, entry 1, entry 2, even though 3, 4, and 5 still resulted in nice profits, remember you want to get those percentages in your favor. You want to get the high percentage trades, and this is how you do that. So again, very nice just in the first half hour. Met your goals here, resulting in anywhere from $400 to $700 profit, depending on how you managed your runner. But again, applying the same rules, applying the same accelerator trading method, which is automatic. It automatically finds, filters, and places these trades. If you want to trade them automatically, it will. Again, day number 3, very nice and profitable. Let's take a look at day 4, which is Thursday. Okay, here's day 4 of the week. This is Thursday. This is our 6:30 time right here. Notice we only had one trade arrow in the same direction a little earlier. That was at 5:58, so we're good to go. Good to take this trade. So here was the trade entry right here. This trade went on to make roughly about 24 ticks in profit on a runner. So if you had a scalp and a runner, you'd be up nicely. We're moving along. Got a long trade here. This long trade did not materialize. This trade did not even get a scalp. That's part of trading. You need to manage, but again, with very tight stops, generally 6 to 8 ticks, you're out of this trade. And then we got the flip to the downside. Very nice flip to the downside, trade to the downside. Nice big move coming down, resulting in about 30 ticks on a runner. And then we had trade entry arrow number 2 right here. A nice scalp, about 8 to 10 ticks on a scalp or on a re-entry, right? And that's it. Still within our time frame here. Still within our half-hour window. Next trade, long, right here was kind of a mirror, but the opposite way of our short trade here at 6:39. Again, this trade did not work out. We had 2 winners ahead of that. You would have got stopped out in this trade, but then look what happened. Next trade here, nice trade entry, and then trade number 2 entry here if you wanted that. And then this trade went on again to make roughly about 40 ticks in profit. Now, some of you might be saying, well, this was the 3rd arrow here. It was, but arrow number 1 did not work. Okay, so if arrow number 1 is not a profitable trade, you can restart your count. So this then becomes trade 1. This becomes trade 2. Even if you didn't, your first trade was here. If you want to hold that runner, you should, because that's the way we teach it. Again, very nice trade. That brings us to our first half hour. Again, very nice profitability across the board. Again, resulting in anywhere from $600 to $800 if you're trading 2 contracts and depending on how you managed the trade. Now, that's 4 days in a row, each session profitable. Let's take a look at day 5, which is Friday. All right, this brings us to day 5. This is Friday, and this was actually the pit open after the non-farm payroll was released on Friday. If you were following us in the live markets room on Friday, we had a special session Friday morning showing how the non-farm payroll worked, and the Russell just completely knocked it out of the park. It was huge on Friday. And we actually have a video on that. It was the prior video, but now we're focusing in on the pit open. So we're applying the same rules. We come to 6:30. Now notice, how many trade arrows did we have before that? 1, 2, 3, right? And then that brings us to right here, 4. So, and 5. If we're going to follow the rules told us we can't really take this trade in here, all right, because of what happened over here. So we're not looking at any trades in here at all on the long side. First trade we're going to look for is going to be on the short side. All right. Short here, this trade got stopped out. So unlike the previous 4 days, this first trade did not work. Had a second trade here that got long. You were able to get a scalp out of it, but no runner. All right. Third trade now to the short side. Got short, was able to get a scalp, no runner. This was your second arrow trade, re-entry trade. This trade did not work out either, right? This trade did get stopped out for about a 6-tick loss, then flipped to long. Nice run up on the long side, 20 ticks on the runner. If you went for the re-entry trade here, this re-entry did not work. All right, so let's see where we're at this point, and then of course we're ignoring the rest of these. We're in the first 15 minutes. This was probably the most difficult of the days that we've shown so far, number 5. Basically, we're about dead break even in here. You can't get disappointed though when that happens, because again, following these techniques, you're going to see typically what happens. Remember, trading is all about patience, discipline, and timing. So you're break even or pretty close to break even. We're still looking at taking trades, and here comes the trade setups now. We got short here. The short trade got stopped out. We re-enter here. We caught a monstrous trade to the downside, and then this was your second entry here. Remember, if you take an entry and you get stopped out because you don't get a runner, you can reset your count. So here's 1, here's 2, and this was huge. Just on one runner right here, on one runner trade off of here, if you just held one runner, this was about $900 in profit. This one, if you did your add-on here or also did the trade here, this one would have resulted in about 600 of profit just on the runner. And of course now, this is 7 a.m. out here. We're not looking at taking any more trades. Okay, so here's day 5. This is the 5th day in the sequence. Every one of these sessions was extremely profitable. Of course, there's some trades that didn't work out, but every one was extremely profitable. I scrolled back. I just wanted to show this for some of you who may have missed the non-farm payroll trades video. All right, this is our non-farm payroll. It came out at 5:30 Pacific. That's 8:30 Eastern, where we wait 2 minutes for our trade setups. We need to wait 2 minutes. All right, here was our first trade setup here. Did not work. Got about a 6-tick loss. Second trade up. Beautiful setup right here. Entering right around the 1183.60 level. You see this one up to 1190. That's roughly 60 ticks, $600 on one contract. Could have had a second trade entry here for a nice scalp, but no runner. And again, following the 2-arrow rule, here was arrow 1, here was arrow 2, no more. Now, but in the opposite direction, yes. Trade number 1 here, add-on number 2 here. This trade went on, was a giant home run all the way down, and that actually took us out to the first half hour after non-farm payroll. So again, this was a big day. If you were trading both sessions, you really cleaned up in the Russell on Friday. A lot of the members were done in the first 20 to 25 minutes after non-farm payroll. But again, every day this week, profitable, applying the same template, applying the same rules, applying the same trade strategy, using what's called the Accelerator method here in the octopus. This was the Russell. Let's take a look at crude. All right, now here's our crude oil charts, and we're applying the same trading strategy, the same methodology, the same indicators running this. The only difference on crude oil, instead of trading for the first 30 minutes, you can use the Accelerator to trade for the first 60 minutes, first hour after the pit open. The pit open is 6 a.m. Pacific, 9 a.m. Eastern, okay? And again, here's your first trade. Here's 6 a.m. Here's your first trade out of the box. Long here. Second trade entry long here. That fulfilled our 2 arrow rule. So we're not taking the trade here or here, okay? For some traders, this was enough. They would have met their goals right here. But we're about 20 minutes now into the session. We then got a short entry here that resulted in at least a scalp, but no runner. Your runner would have gotten stopped out. And then still within our time frame here, still looking to trade the first hour. Very nice long trade here, followed up by a second long trade entry here off the second arrow and a drive to a new high. This trade entry down here would have resulted in about 60 ticks if you held the runner. This one a little bit less, about 40 ticks. Now, I want to point out one other important aspect that we talk about here at High Percent Trading, and that is you have to have the dogged perseverance to re-enter your trade one more time if you're using a tight stop. Of course, if you were using a stop down here, it's not an issue. But some traders, when they trade this, will put a stop right under the swing. If that was the case, you got stopped out right here. And we talk about this all the time. This is part of the training. This is part of what you need to learn to be a successful trader. Take one more bite out of the apple if this happens. It happened right here. First reversal bar, you're back in it, okay? You're back in that trade, and it's running significantly higher. That brings us out to 7 a.m. We're done. This is the first hour of trading. Very nicely profitable. Trading a 2-contract basis like this, give or take, was anywhere from $800 to $1,000. Again, if you were taking these trades and managing them the way that we like to teach. All right, let's look at Tuesday. Okay, here's Tuesday in the crude, again, trading the first hour. Notice here's our 6 a.m. time. Notice there was a trade entry arrow here. However, as I pointed out, you need to look to the left here to see what happened. We had 1, 2, 3. There we had at least 3 trade entries that worked very well right though, so we're going to ignore this at this point in time. First trade entry is going to be here. This was short. This short trade got stopped out, did not get a scalp. Second trade entry here, short. This was a nice trade. This trade resulting in about 16 to 18 ticks on a runner if you had it. Second trade entry here, resulting in about a 6 to 8 tick scalp, but no runner. All right, long trade entry here, got stopped out. Long entry trade here got stopped out. And for some of you, you get discouraged when this happens. You said, well, I entered this trade and I got stopped out. I came back again and took this trade and I got stopped. Now I've had 2 losers in a row. You cannot get discouraged when that happens. If you follow the rules here, trading this type of approach, 95% of the time your session is going to end up profitable. And so here's your short entry here, short. You got a nice trade to the downside, resulting in about anywhere from 15 to 16 ticks. All right. These trade entries were profitable. This was not nearly as profitable as the Monday. You're still profitable, but sometimes your bottom line is going to be down a little bit like it was here. You had to work harder at it, and that's just part of trading. Remember, trading is about patience, discipline, and timing, but still a profitable session. Not as profitable as the first one on Monday, but still profitable. Let's take a look at Wednesday. All right, here's our trade from Wednesday. Here's our trade 6 a.m. starting at 6 a.m. Notice we did have one nice trade entry here. However, that's before our time. So using this approach, we have our short entry here. And this really didn't result in a scalp, but remember what I said about the dogged perseverance. When you have this trade and it doesn't work, and it gets stopped out if you have a tight stop here. Of course, if your stop was up here, you would have been okay. But again, some of you trade with tight stops. If your stop was here, you got stopped out. But remember what I said about taking the bite out of the apple? Take that next bite out of the apple. That's the way it's taught here at High Percent Trading. You got short on this trade, and now watch what happened on this trade. Remember what I said about the trade entries. You had your arrows. We've already had 3 now. So you had 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They continue to work, all right? But again, you want to get the percentages in your favor. The point that I'm trying to make is this was your re-entry trade right here. If you were holding a runner, what I call a pocket runner, and that's your stop right above here, you're gonna be in this trade the whole way down, all right? Entry level around 47.73. This market broke all the way down to 47.33, roughly 40 ticks on the run, okay? 40 ticks off that run. And that brings us out to 7 a.m. That's 1 hour of trading and we're done. I want to show something else. This is Wednesday. A lot of you recall on Wednesdays we have non-farm payroll. So let's take a look applying the same approach on non-farm payroll. We're going to wait 2 minutes after the non-farm payroll report, and we're going to trade the first 30 minutes. Again, showing how flexible the Accelerator is. This is following the exact rules that we have laid out here. We're not changing anything differently. Let's take a look at starting at 7:32 Pacific. Okay, here's the non-farm payroll. Sorry. Here's the crude oil inventory. You can see there's a big shotgunning that goes in effect here at 7:30 Pacific. We're waiting for 7:32, right? If you were waiting patiently for 7:32, this would have been your first trade entry right here, all right? And if you followed the second bite out of the apple, you tried it again, neither one of these trades worked. All right, so coming out of the box, we've had 2 losers in a row. Not big though, 6 to 7 ticks on each. We ignore the next trade because that's not, we've already exceeded our 2-error rule. What do we have now? We have our short entry here, followed by your second trade here, and this trade was huge. This was a gigantic trade to the downside, entering around 47.40. Came all the way down to about the 95 level. That's roughly 55 ticks on a runner. And notice it continued down. If you were continuing to run with this, continued on down, I realize we're still within that that first 30-minute time window, right? But this market continued to head down all the way, resulting in, if you had a runner, resulting in at least 100 ticks on your runner. And that was just basically taking 3 trades total, the first 2 losers, the second one huge, all right, and a gigantic trade. So that's how we trade Wednesday. Then that was trading both the pit open and the oil inventory. Let's take a look at Thursday. All right, here's Thursday in the crude again, using the Accelerator, using the same rules, the same entries, the same logic on everything. We're waiting for our 6 a.m. Here's 6 a.m. First trade entry short right here. Second arrow if you wanted it, the add-on here with the runner. Nice trade. Runner picked up about 50 ticks here. If you held it, that's $500 on a contract. Notice we're going to ignore the next 2 entries following our 2-error rule. Next trade still within our 30-minute window. Long entry here for a scalp, no runner, but then watch what happened. A very nice long entry here in around the, let's call it the 46 level. Moved all the way up to above 46.40. That's 40 ticks on a runner. Here's trade number 2 if you want it. Trade number 2 right here. Nice scalp for 10 to 12 ticks and no runner on this, and then you're done. All right, that brings us out right here to 7 a.m. That's our first hour. Very, very profitable in our first hour of trading. So again, we've covered all 4 days so far of the week. Every one of the sessions profitable. Not every trade is profitable, right? You saw there were a couple occasions we had 2 losses in a row. You can't avoid that in trading, but with proper stop management, as we've shown, you're going to come out ahead. Let's look at our last day, Friday. All right, this takes us to our Friday now in crude. Here's the 6 a.m. pit open right here. Notice if we look back, right, we've already had a series of trades in here to the downside. So following that rule, we're basically going to skip this and this. Even if you didn't, if for some reason you forgot about the rule or decided you were going to bend it a little bit and trade, your first entry would have been here that got stopped out. Second entry here would have been okay for a nice scalp at least. But following and adhering to our rule, here was our first trade set up here long. All right, did not work. This trade got stopped out. Second trade to the short side, at least you got a small scalp but no runner. You're basically at break even right now, maybe even slightly negative of break even on this session. First trade entry here. If you had a tight stop, you got stopped out, but then re-entered here. Got a nice scalp for about 10, 12 ticks, no runner. Still, We're early in the session. We flipped along here. Now this nice long trade resulting in about 20 ticks on a runner. Second re-entry here, anywhere from 8 to 10 ticks again on a trade. That was our 2-arrow rule. Looking at the short side now, short, still within our window. Short trade got stopped out. Second re-entry, taking us out. Here's 7 a.m. That's when we're going to stop. Short trade here. And then this trade went on for a beautiful trade all the way down. Roughly about 50, 55 ticks. Again, if you have a runner. So, had to work a little bit more here on Friday. Had a couple trades that didn't work. That's part of trading. But again, applying the patience, discipline, and timing. Using the same technique day in and day out, nothing's changed. Proper trade management using the Octopus Accelerator, which is trading the momentum. Profitable every day, every session in crude oil, and we showed profitable every session, 100% session profitability in Russell as well. For those of you who may be fairly new to high percent trading, I've put the website up here for a couple of reasons. Number one, this is our schedule coming up this week for our live markets analysis. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, every day this week, 9:20 Eastern to 11 a.m. Eastern. Tuesday and Thursday, we're having tutorial workshops here. You can see the times here. These are for traders that were here on trial. Of course, this was last Saturday's webinar, so this one is already done. Every one of these you can attend this week free, no problems. Just come in and register. If you haven't taken a trial yet, if you come over here, you can request a free trial. Click on the link. It'll get you the information. But what I wanted to point out now in this video for some of you who are watching, some of you have had a trial this past week, or you're in a trial now and it's due to expire. You can see that if you apply these techniques, patience, discipline, timing, you should be profitable 22 out of 23 trading sessions employing the way that we teach the trading here. Objectively, it is what you see. There's no subjectivity involved here. There's no could have, should have, or would have. What you see is what it is. The octopus is actually taking these trades, filtering them, showing you where they're at, and will automatically enter them. What I'm saying, the reason I'm saying this is if your trial's expiring or about to expire or has expired, if you drop me an email, info@highpercenttrading.com, in other words, do the contact right here, contact us, info@highpercenttrading.com. We'll make you a special membership pricing for those of you who have had this trial. You have to ask for it, though. You have to request it, all right? It's going to be a really good, fantastic deal for you, but you have to request it, all right? That will remain open until right now, close of business this Wednesday coming up, which is the 11th. So anybody who contacts me who is on a trial right now or would like to go ahead and subscribe who's not a member, we're going to go ahead and make you a special discounted offer, but you need to contact us, okay? All right, well, I hope you liked what you saw. You can see that if you apply these techniques, you take all the guesswork out of trading. Thanks for watching. I hope this was informative. Hope to see you all coming up again in the live markets analysis rooms all this week. Have a nice day. Bye now.